It seems like Dinosaur is just filled with so many problems recently. Our first problem is to do with Squirm's Easter skin, Spring Quilt. If you have Squirm's Easter skin, you may have realized that Squirm's Easter skin feels a bit bigger or maybe even closer to the camera. This user said, just realized Squirm is bigger in his Easter skin, and so many players have reported that Squirm's Easter skin does feel a bit larger than Squirm's other skins, and we have a comparison on size. It seems like the dev team have made Squirm's Easter skin a bit larger. Some have said that the Easter skin is maybe closer to the camera instead of being larger, and players have wondered if Squirm's Easter skin has a different hitbox because it's a bit larger. Our next problem is to do with Cosmo's extraction animation. Some of you may remember that Cosmo's extraction animation used to extract backwards, but the dev team have fixed Cosmo's extraction animation. Cosmo now extracts the correct direction. However, it looks like Cosmo's hand is inside the valve with Cosmo's new extraction animation going the correct direction. Hopefully the dev team will be able to remove Cosmo's hand from inside the valve because that's what it looks like. Our next bug is to do with Twisted Gigi and Twisted Gigi's line of sight not breaking. This user said Gigi wouldn't stop chasing me no matter what, and she also didn't grab me either, and her hand is missing. Let's take a look. As we can see, there is a Twisted following this Sprout player from the eye icon, but we can't see any Twisteds around, so what's going on? So Twisted Gigi has been following this Sprout for the whole floor. As you can see, even when Sprout is in the elevator, Twisted Gigi is still trying to catch the Sprout player. I haven't seen something like this happen for a very long time, where a Twisted is just hyper fixated on a toon and won't let go. As you can see, Sprout was running far away from the Gigi, but we know Twisted Gigi was still following the Sprout from the eye icon. This is definitely a rare bug. Our next bug is to do with Twisted Squirm. We've spoken about this bug before, where Twisted Squirm messes with the stealth of toons when he's around. And if you're not aware of this problem, this user has great examples of the Twisted Squirm stealth bug. Let's take a look. So Eclipse is distracting Twisteds and Bobbit is giving Eclipse a speed boost, but when Twisted Squirm appears, as you can see, all of the Twisteds lose sight of the Eclipse and attack the Bobbit, and that only happened when Twisted Squirm appeared. We may have a reason as to why Twisted Squirm is messing with the stealth of toons. This user said, Squirm bug. You need a line of sight with that machine. And when we take a closer look, Scraps cannot grapple to the machine because Twisted Squirm is in between Scraps and the machine. Therefore, the game tells the player you need line of sight with that machine. So is Twisted Squirm creating an invisible wall? Another user had a similar problem where Twisted Squirm was creating some sort of invisible wall. Let's take a look. This user said another bug with Twisted Squirm, the detection range he has around him counts as an object. As Goob, you are unable to use your ability on people near him. Plus, Twisted Shrimpo does not aggro when he should due to Squirm. Interesting, let's take a look. So we know that Goob is able to hug teammates. However, when Goob is trying to hug his teammates, he is getting the line of sight message as if there is a wall in front of the Goob, but there's no wall in front of the Goob. Lo and behold, there is a Twisted Squirm in the area. So Twisted Squirm creating a line of sight problem and Twisted Squirm messing with the stealth of toons could be related. And this reminds me of the iCall leak bug, where iCall leaks created an invisible wall where Twisteds were unable to see toons. As you can see, a Twisted is walking past this toon and the Twisted can't see the toon because the iCall puddles were creating an invisible wall. So Twisted Squirm could be doing the same thing, creating some sort of invisible wall that's messing with the line of sight and the stealth of toons. Hopefully the dev team can look into this problem because long runs are heavily affected by Twisted Squirm messing with stealth and it seems line of sight as well. Our next bug is to do with Twisted Yata. This user user posted a clip of Twisted Yata behaving very unusually. So Twisted Yata is following the Twisted Glisten. This might be related to Twisted Cosmo and Twisted Sprout AI change, where Twisted Sprout follows Twisted Cosmo. Somehow that code has transferred to Twisted Yata, where now Twisted Yata is able to follow Twisted Glisten. That is super weird, and it's a bit worrying that after our first Tune of the Week updates, there were so many bugs. Imagine all of the future bugs to come when more Tune of the Week updates are released and the AI of Twisted start to change. We are going to see a huge influx of bugs to do with Twisted pathing, so be prepared. Our next problem is to do with Twisted Blot. So we know that Twisted Blot can see you through walls and the attack animation plays. However, this user said this: I don't think Blot should be able to do this. Let's take a look. As you can see, Blot uses his attack animation when you are close to him, which is normal. However, Blot is able to actually hit you even when you're behind an obstacle. So be very careful when you are hiding behind obstacles and Blot is around. Blot can still hit you. Honestly, I think this is intentional. I don't think the dev team will make any changes, but maybe it is unintentional and maybe this is not supposed to happen. We'll see in the future if the dev team decide to make some changes with Twisted Blot's hitbox. Our next bug is to do with the toy kit trinket, which increases aura ability radiuses. This user said the toy kit trinket is buggy on Brusher. The larger radius is mostly just visual. It only starts working when someone enters the original circle radius, and then the bigger radius works. Let's see what this user is talking about. Other users have reported the same problem, so let's see what's going on. So Brusher's ring is bigger because of the toy kit trinket. However, Brusher needs to go a bit closer to the Sprout to give Sprout that skill check boost, even though Sprout is clearly inside the ring. And as you can see at the end of the clip, the original ring radius appears, and it seems like that's the radius the game is using instead of the increased radius from toy kit. But the user goes on to say the toy kit eventually works after a while, so there's definitely something going on with the toy kit trinket and ring abilities. Our next problem is to do with item spawn locations. Users have reported that item spawn locations are behaving strangely. This user said we don't have a Bassi in the team, by the way. Let's take a closer look, and as you can see, there are 3 items close together. It definitely looks unnatural to have so many items close together, and as you can see, the player said, wait, why does it look like a Bassi put it down, even though they did not have a Bassi in their team. And another user has reported strange item spawn locations. This user said, I found this in solo, there wasn't a Bassi at all. I also found another trail of pups, but I forgot to screenshot. Let's take a look. And as you can see, it does look quite strange and unnatural to have these items spawn the way they are, so close together. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes, I wonder. Our next problem is to do with a Sprout player behaving very strangely. This user said, why does Sprout twitching? I use capture in Roblox, that's why buttons didn't show up. Let's see what happened. So Sprout is in the garden view lobby and Sprout is doing very weird animations that are not in the game. So what exactly is happening? The user said, I'm at my private server because I'm about to host a run, but suddenly I notice Sprout twitching randomly and start recording it. Nothing much, just standing there. So they did not say they were using exploits of any kind. They said it randomly just happened. However, this user said, I have a feeling this is an exploit somewhat. I remember seeing an exploiter doing some sort of animation glitch glitch that kinda looks similar to this one. Correct me if I'm wrong. So the big question is this the result of exploits, or is Dandy's world haunted? And lastly, we have another Sprout bug where one of Sprout's skins, Caramel Drizzle, is T-posing in the Garden View lobby, and this has been happening over the past few days. It seems like it's only happening to some players, whilst other players have not experienced the T-posing problem.